just got here after the most amazing journey.
If you guys have been following her Twitter, it has been so exciting. I've been following your little journey kind of around everywhere. It's been quite fantastic.
Well, yes, it started at me getting up at 4:30 this morning, and I was filming until like nearly 11 o'clock last night.
Gosh. Can you say anything about the filming, or is it...
No, the trouble is with anything we do, whether we're doing it for audios for Big Finish, or whether we're filming for something else, there's always this horrible thing of you mustn't say anything until we tell you. I mean, 2 years ago, I play a lot of different characters for Big Finish, and 2 years ago, I did this thing with Sir Derek Jacobi, and it's just come out, and I've only just been allowed to say I've done it. And I did it 2 years ago. And at my age, I'll forget what I've done by the time I get there.
That's just been announced, hasn't it? It's I think it is the War Master...
It's just come out.
Yes, yeah. So,
and how about Russell T coming back again?
I mean, that was one of my questions. I see questions for you, but it was...
hello. Questions.
But that's quite a coup, isn't it? To kind of get Russell T back again.
I think it's great, but I think we also have to be a little bit fair, and we have to accept that we've had some lovely seasons and castings with Moffat and with Chris Chibnall.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, we all get the... You know, I love Russell. Well, he brought Joe back 40 years later, which was very nice. You know. Mind you, people keep saying, oh, are you going to come back again? I said, you have to understand, Joe, they keep saying Joe Grant. Joe is actually probably a little bit younger than me in, you know, kind of fantasy terms, but I'm 75 in October, and Joe Jones has, you know, like 13 grandchildren, 7 children, and now quite a few great-grandchildren. She's still running around the planet. She's still married to her professor. But I have a feeling if they bring anybody back from the past, it might be somebody who's not about to, oh, hello, Granny Jones is here.
I don't know. I mean, we've seen you in the Blu-ray trailers. Kind of defeating Autons and driving around in Bessie.
Listen, you can't keep an old girl back. You know, in a strange way, I think it's time that they did have at least another episode with a very old granny who's still running around doing stuff.
I'd say that would be quite amazing.
Yeah, give the elderly a look in. Let's not have ageism, right? Thank you.
So going back to Big Finish, I don't know about you guys, I'm a massive Big Finish fan, and I've got the...
Sorry, there's noises, it's like having the children at home at the moment. Sorry. Who's got the Big Finish app here? Has anyone got the... Yeah, there's a couple of people who've got the Big Finish app, and... What, sorry? Oh, well, I mean, yeah, people buy the CDs. I've got the app because I go through them I don't have an app.
Quickly.
I just do them. But I mean, I've been really lucky with Big Finish because I don't know if any of you have heard of Iris Wildthyme, who, when you think about it, was actually the first-time lady. I mean, she's been careering around the universe with a bar in the back of her bus for about 16, 17 years. Likes a ciggy and a drink, but she gets the job done. And then I did Dracula, and I've done Torchwood and I've also done Dorian Gray, and then my own play where I actually voiced 26 characters as they come off the page, from babies to, you know, African men to all kinds of people. And then I've just done 3 books of Paul Mars's and 50 voices.
Gosh.
I came out of the studio and I didn't know who to be. You know, you go, excuse me, hello.
Did you do the 50 voices like straight off the script, or did you have to go
Straight
back?
off the script. I mean, I've got one of the characters is a depressed vending machine. Now I have to come up with all the voices, and I'm thinking, what the hell does a depressed vending machine sound like? And her name was Barbara, so I came up with one. And I suddenly decided she had to have that slightly, because she's also a vending machine with arms and legs. And then I had to be wardrobes that eat people, that open their door. So you got that, and I mean, it was just bonkers. And then I had to be all these different children, all these different characters from, really, really wacky characters. And then on top of that, I turned a page, it said Andy Warhol. So, but I'm so lucky to do all that. And of course, do Joe Jones and Joe Grant.
And now with Tim Treloar, how many series have we got with Tim, and countless series? And
I just do it. I just go in. And it's so weird because when we had John Culshaw back, so we had John Culshaw, Tim Treloar, and then we had Daisy Ashford in one of them, right? And I suddenly looked, and there's me playing 19-year-old Joe Grant at the age of nearly 75. And I looked at them and I said, this is so weird, because I was always working with people that were much older than me. And suddenly I'm standing here, you're all playing old people, thank God it's audio, and I'm on tippy toes being Joe. It's just so, I just love that whole kind of fantasy. And I laughed and I said, and I'm old enough to be your granny, all of you. But Tim Treloar is wonderful, and we have very much the same relationship in a sense that John and I had. It was kind of instant, and then when I got locked in the toilet and he broke the door down to let me out, I looked at him and I said, now you're my doctor. I mean,
where was that? Was that at
I got locked in the toilet at Big Finish, and they were all having lunch. And I didn't want to disturb them, so I thought, I could stay in here for a while, there's a book.
And everyone talks about the Big Finish lunches being so amazing.
Yeah, well, I was in the toilet, and eventually, and there was an Andre Agassi book there, and a hairbrush, so I thought, I'll be fine.
Oh, great.
And because I thought, I can't just send a message on the phone saying, hello, it's Katy, I'm locked in the toilet, when they're all having a sandwich. So, I'm a caring kind of mother. And so, so I waited what I call a polite amount of time. And then suddenly, apparently, they were all saying, where's Katy? It's a bit quiet without Katy around, And so the producer and then, Nick Briggs and everything. And then Tim said, I know where she is. She's been locked in the toilet for 20 minutes. And so he came along and bust the door down and out of the cave.
What a reveal. What a moment. So, whilst we're here, have you got any questions around? If there are questions, please put your hand up. And we've got Loki over here that's going to run around. I mean, don't be shy. If you've got a question, whack your hand up.
If you've got a question, come to me.
Because I could quite happily talk to Katy all afternoon, all morning. I mean, I could.
He's going, is she gone yet?
I mean, I'm sure.
Anybody got any interesting questions that I'm actually bright enough to answer?
Oh, we've got one down there. Lovely.
Oh, you see, I was going to work it.
Oh, I mean...
I didn't realise there was somebody there.
Oh, no, we've got people.
Sorry, darling, I didn't know you were there. I was going to attack you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming up to play Norwich today. It's lovely to see you. I've got a question based on the recent Doctor Who Blu-ray set.
Yes.
Where you're interviewed by Matthew Smith. You talk about going out with Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
Which is something I was completely unaware of, and I wondered.
Oh, honey, there's a whole part of my life.
Hendrix and that time.
I had the best time, but I'm not one of these people that likes to I've had such an extraordinary life, which you probably gathered some of it from there. But I don't really like being one of those people that says, oh yes, I did this and I went out. You know, I just kind of let it drop every now and again. You know, there was others too, darling. Hendrix wasn't the only one.
We have a question over there.
How did it feel?
How did you feel working with Elizabeth Sladen?
I just loved it. We got on so well. Because, you know, she found her perfect doctor in Tom. And it was quite difficult for her going in. So we had a lot of things, you know, and she had always been, whenever we did, I didn't do many conventions when she was doing a lot, but we always kind of had that relationship, that rapport. And it was just a joy, and I knew she wasn't very well. And she said it was so lovely having a character like Jo who helped lift up, you know, her character as Sarah Jane, because Sarah Jane was quite deep, whereas Jo is like, what, where, who? You know? And we had the best time, and we laughed a lot. And I think that that was really important. And I was worried about going back because I thought, all these kiddies are suddenly going to see Jo Grant as a granny. And the kids all called me Granny Groove. So, but it was lovely, and she was just a delight, and her daughter Sadie is too. Lovely. I feel honoured, and I think she was just one of the best ever in Doctor Who. Loved her.
Oh, we have another question there as well.
Hello. Hi. Hello. Oh, hello. I think I do. Without my glasses, it's like, do I know you? Right. I do that a lot.
What was it like working with John Pertwee?
It was, I don't think I could have chosen. I mean, I'd had a couple of it was very early in my career. I couldn't have had a more funny, fascinating, I learned so much because I was so much younger. But we had an instant relationship. You know, when you just meet someone, you just go boing. And we both loved doing voices, and we used to we did everything together. We ate together, we traveled together. We were that kind of good friends that we even went on holiday. I went on holiday with the family to Ibiza. And I think that says, and also, you know, obviously John, but he was just one of those extraordinary people because of the life he'd already lived and learning so much from him. And we just had this incredible bond and friendship, and, you know, we just loved each other. But that also applied, you know, with the team, with Nick and with Roger Delgado. And they were wonderful, but John and I were glued together, and he helped. Do you know, because I can't see, you know, as soon as they took my glass, I'm not allowed to drive or anything, and as soon as they took he would always have my hand held. He even stood at the edge of a cliff with a big white flag and waved it because he said, she'll go over that cliff. I know she will, she'll keep running. He was just a beautiful, beautiful man.
We're going to have to wrap this up.
We're going to have to wrap it up.
Unfortunately, but very, very quickly, the last little question. What's, if there is anything that you can talk about, what is next for Katy Manning? What's next for Jo Grant?
Well,
is there anything you can
the one
say?
thing I can talk about is the 3 books with the 50 voices. And if you care about me at all, you will listen to those books. Because I just quickly tell you, there's 1,500 pages all up, 50 voices which will blow your mind because they blew mine. And on top of that, written by Paul Mars, who we know is one. And I'm just about to do something with Colin Baker that Paul Mars wrote, which I can say. But these 3 books I'll either never work again, or I'll be in the Guinness Book of Records for not breathing. Anyway, I hope that you enjoy them, because they are so wacky. And I had it was during the pandemic, and I just have to say quickly, I had a guy who was French, who'd never done audios before because we couldn't find any other studios to use a Big Finish. And he's French, and he'd never done audios, so he couldn't correct my reading disabilities. So there are going to be words, the poor editor is going to have a nervous breakdown. But the best part was, every time I walked out, he would say, "I've never heard anything like it before." And then I'm walking out the studio, and Iggy Pop's drummer's walking in to record. I thought, that's it, I'm done.
That makes it, and is that available?
Thank you all, sir. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Please come and see Katy at her desk. You're down at the end, aren't you?
Somewhere.
Oh yeah, you'll be down there. Please put your hands together for Katy Manning, everyone.